All right, gang, welcome back to our luxury tax challenge here in Mecklenburg. It is now July. I'm happy to say we have some, well, they're not actually showing up right now, but we do have, oh, there's one. We do have some baby cows, which is fantastic. There you go, little guy right there. Look at him. Still trying to figure out how to stand up, but we've got some baby cows now, so that's good. 5 of them to be exact. So things are moving along well here. The health there is at 93% because we do have those new baby calves, and the ones that we purchased recently aren't at 100% yet either. So, but things are moving along nice. They are still doing good. They've got plenty of food, plenty of food and straw, etc. All that stuff is perfectly fine. Probably need to top them off soon, but they're doing okay. Now today, we've got 2 fields that are ready to harvest, and we also need to do the application of fertilizer, rather, into our grass field. First things first, though, we need to go ahead and flood the rice field before I forget, so we don't lose any of that potential profit. But yeah, 2 fields are ready to harvest, specifically this field down here, our canola field down here, and then our rye field up here. Both of these fields are ready to harvest. Now, we don't have enough money right now, as it currently stands, to buy a harvester. And really, we want something probably on this row. Maybe the New Holland here, but more than likely something on this row. In the used market, there is a header that is for sale for significantly cheaper. As you can see, 60% off. We are going to be purchasing that. We're not going to have enough money to buy the harvester this time, but we will, at a bare minimum, get this header, which is going to help us out tremendously. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to put the US version on, I think. Well, actually, you know what? We're in Mecklenburg. I should leave it as the EU, right? I should leave it as the EU. Let's do that. So we're going to buy that. So that's $41,720. So $4,172 basically that we need to put into the park today. And then we're just going to lease the harvester for the time being. I would like to get this John Deere since it fits that one, but it probably would work on the case here, maybe on the New Holland. I'm not positive on there, and depending on, the situation, we may go with one of those two, but really, we probably want to go for this one. I don't really care about the bigger engine on this one. I do want the Michelin's on there, as I normally do. Let's see, crawler track broad. I like the wide stuff, but, we're leasing this, so do we really care about it right now? Probably not. And we'll keep it as the EU, since we are in the EU. And we'll just lease this for $19,000. That's a lot of money, but we're getting 2 fields harvested with it, so it's going to be okay. So we're going to lease it for $19,431. And we will head on up. Oh, by the way, I got the forklift over here, by the way. We've got a few of those that have spawned. The ice cream in there that's spawned. We do have a little bit of honey behind us. Not really enough to move over there yet, but we'll probably do that today as well. Now, as far as this goes, we may, now that I'm seeing how large this is, and it doesn't have the ability to... No, it doesn't. So since I'm seeing how large this is, we probably want a header trailer as well. This is the one we're looking for, so we'll go ahead and lease this. It shouldn't be too expensive. $637. Yeah, it's not too bad. I don't really care about the license plates. I'm going to turn that off. Everything else, we'll just keep it as is. How's everyone doing today? I hope you're all doing well. I just recently began, or was released, I guess is how I should put it, a brand new series on the brand new map from Giants. I think it's going to be a fun one. It's a bit of a continuation of Zorch's story from the Barker Family Farm series we did that ended, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, or a little bit longer, I guess. Somewhere around there. Well, that went well. Okay, well, evidently it just fixed itself. Now, that series specifically, I will give you full transparency. The Barker Family Farm series had real life. It was based off real life events that happened to me in real life and my family. The one we're doing now does not. It's a continuation of Z's story and what I would have liked to think would have been my next path. But it's not an actual true representation of that. I don't do anything in farming right now, so besides this game, obviously. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear and transparent with all you. I don't want to make you think otherwise for any reason. So we're going to attempt this. This is going to be a struggle here. I'm all over the road right here. try to get this through here. Here we go. I think we might have it under control. Let's get inside this behemoth here, man. This thing is a beast. An absolute behemoth of a machine. But it's going to be fantastic, right? We own the header now, and obviously probably could utilize a little bit of, you know, TLC maybe, even though it says we are at full repair. I would have thought it wouldn't be at full repair, but maybe it's because we're not actually hooked into the machine. We're just pulling it. I guess that probably makes a lot of sense now that you think about it. That was just a dumb statement by me. But anyway, we do own that header now, so that's one less thing we got to worry about as we move along here, right? These two fields we're going to be doing here, the one we're going to first, it's the smaller field. It's not as big of an issue. The other one up by the park is significantly larger than this field, but it's still not as large as our field near our yard. That field is massive and will take a long time to harvest. So having this size of a header is going to help tremendously. We have not utilized this size of a header yet on this series, so. Now, I will talk a little bit more about the new series that I started. Skyfin Aquafarm is what the actual name of the series is going to be. It's on the brand new map from Giants Kinlake. I'm saying it wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. The brand new DLC map that just came out. It is on that from Giants, and I really like that map so far. I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about that series. It will be a bit, I think, of a slow grind at the beginning. But I think it's going to get really good. Going to be a challenge as well. We are playing on hard difficulty. There's a chance maybe in the future if it takes too long we might drop it to normal, but I would like to keep it on hard as much as possible. It's gonna be fun, man. We've got to figure out a way to make. Just bear with me for a minute. If you've already watched it, if you haven't, then just bear with me. We basically bought with the money that we had and abandoned Aquafarm, and we're trying to make that Aquafarm back to its heyday. And what we mean by that is we have to make sure that our Aquafarm that we're utilizing and we're doing is self-sufficient, meaning we can't buy any specific products from the store to successfully achieve the goal of that series. So in theory right now for my Aquafarm, I've got it going to an extent where, you know, you can just go into the shop and buy stuff right now just to get things going. But in the end, the way to succeed is we have to be able to make all the fish food, you know, by hand or scratch or whatever you want to call it, not just go to the store and buy it. Among numerous other things, it's probably going to be a relatively long series, I think, just based solely on the fact that so far I've really enjoyed that map and I want to, you know, get some longevity out of it. And I think that series will allow us to do so, especially on that hard difficulty, like I mentioned, right? A lot of people seem interested in it so far from what I've noticed. It just recently was released at the time of this recording. Actually, it was released this morning at the time of this recording. And, yeah, it's got a lot of positive views on it, at least so far, which is a good thing. For this series, the real true goal is that new series that I started is going to replace this one. This series is not going to continue on for much longer. We are going to accomplish the things I set out to do in regard to a couple of things that are not really specifically in the rules of this challenge, but things I said I wanted to do. Buy a harvester, buy the rice harvester, right? Get all of that set and pay off the loan, right? We've already kind of started on that a little bit. We paid a good chunk of it off in the last episode. But there's still more to do, right? There's still more to do. I think selling this ice cream is going to help tremendously. And speaking of that, I need to look and see when it's best to sell ice cream. I would think it was going to be right around now in the summer months. At least that's what you would assume and think, right? You would think that ice cream is going to be the best price in the summer months. That's when most people eat ice cream. They don't normally eat ice cream. Well, some people do. But most people do not normally, families at least, do not normally eat ice cream or go out to eat ice cream in the winter, right? Let's do a quick autosave here while we continue on. I'm going to turn the lines on so I can talk a little bit more here. We want to do at least 2 headland passes on this field for sure. It looks like I still had the beacons on. I couldn't really see it except that bottom one. I didn't even notice that one was there at the bottom of the John Deere there. If I turn it back on, you see that? Flashing light. I didn't even know there was a beacon down there. Anyway. All right, we're good. We got it going. All right, so while that's happening, let's talk a little bit more here about where we're at and where we're going to go here. So, we've got some more milk we need to bring over for sure. The dairy production, plenty of strawberries in there, not a ton of milk, but it is chewing through it slowly but surely. The honey is still not quite there. Obviously, maybe eventually here we'll get enough honey to really make some kind of progress there, but nonetheless, we do have that going as well. Hydroponic greenhouses are in an okay shape. We definitely need to get a little bit of water over to them. Grass is still going through, digestate, the silage, everything is still being sold there. We have plenty of TMR in here still. I'm not too concerned about that right now. We might even sell some TMR while we're at it. And then we want to look and see about the strawberry ice cream and when it's best to sell, right? We don't know when that is. My guess, as I mentioned, was right around now, but I don't really know, right? It could be completely different than what we're thinking. Strawberry ice cream is right now. So our little market is the best place. No, I'm sorry. Big Farmer's Kiosk is the best place to sell it. I'm not sure if I know where that is on this map. Where is the Big Farmer's Kiosk? Is it flashing and I don't see it? Way up here. We have never been up there. So that'll be good. That'll be something else. We can check out some more of the map that we haven't seen yet. But yeah, I'm glad that we were able to do this series, though. I'm glad that we were able to make it succeed. I mean, I feel like we've already succeeded, but we have to pay off the loan still to truly succeed. And then I'm doing those other things I mentioned already at the beginning of this episode, right? Got to utilize some bigger equipment. We don't normally utilize a whole lot of big equipment on this channel, mostly because the stuff that I do are challenges that you start with little to no money or small amounts of land and figure out ways to succeed. Not always the case, certainly not always the case, but that's, I would say, 90% of what is on my channel and what I normally do, and I think that is more of my bread and butter there is the smaller type of equipment and the smaller type of equipment challenges, I guess I should say. Right or wrong, that's just what I think. So, this is a massive, massive field here of canola. I'm going to go ahead and put a worker on it for right now because we're 66% full, and we need to get the trailer over here. And if we can get the trailer over here, then we'll be in a lot better shape, right? And I think the worker's going to move to a different side, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Let me turn that Big Farmer's Kiosk off. I don't really need that on anymore. I'm going to go ahead and start loading that up while we're waiting, and then we will bring this on over and get it unloaded, and then we will get started on getting the rest of that field harvested, and then from there, obviously harvesting our rye field. We also have a ton of wood beams to sell here. I've made the decision, I am going to put those onto auto selling. There's still 16,000 liters of wood in there for it to chew through. It's got 12,427, well, 431 liters now of wood beams in there. We are still going to have to sell those manually, but the rest of those we are just going to sell, auto sell them, I guess is how I should put it. So when 9 o'clock hits here, we should see a big increase in funds coming in. Maybe enough that we could have potentially bought the harvester, but we will have another sale for sure. We'll have a lot more sales. I guess I should put it that way. A lot more sales of all those wood beams because there's still wood that it is still processing. And we probably are going to knock down 1 or 2 more trees. It's meh. I don't know if it'll be today. We've got a lot going on today, so I don't know if it'll be today or not. But yeah, we've got a lot more still to do, I guess is what I should put it, or how I should put it. Now, I said before, a couple episodes back, that at bare minimum, I wanted to at least do, where's our rice at? At least until, I guess, September, because I think we put the rice in the late month, so September. We might do another episode after that. We might do 2 episodes after that. I don't know, but it's going to be somewhere around that mark is when this series will end. We should have enough money by then. We're making a decent amount of money off the windmill. The wood beams obviously making us money. All the stuff we're going to be making off the harvests here that we're doing, which, full transparency, even though we are harvesting the canola and everything right now, we're probably not going to sell those until the very last, episode, right? So we make the most money, and that way we make sure we succeed on getting everything else that we need to do completed. But if we're at a point where we need to do, and what I mean by need to do is we need... I don't know what the worker's doing here. I guess maybe he thinks I missed portion of this. I don't know. But anyway, we'll take back over for the worker, I guess. So if we need to sell some of this stuff to get, some of the things we need early, then, that's one thing. But if we're going to attempt to try to make sure we're making the most money we can out of this. Evidently, I missed a whole big chunk right there, huh? Not sure how I missed that. Well, I mean, I had it on auto, so maybe it's just, I guess it's just slightly over the actual pathing there, I guess, right? So we'll go a little bit further forward here, and then I'm going to go back and pick that up, because it is a significant amount. Is it going to make us thousands of more dollars? No, but it is a significant amount of canola that we're leaving there, not harvested. How's everyone doing? Did I ask you that already? I might have asked you that already. If I did, sorry, apologies. But hopefully you're all doing well, man. Things are good, man. Things are good. As good as they can be, given the circumstances of what I've been dealing with lately. I bet if you've been around for the channel for a while, know all the craziness that's been happening in my life. But that is life, man. That's what happens, right? This header is fantastic, man. It's still taking a while. A lot longer, actually, than I had anticipated. But these fields are massive. We talked about this a lot, right? The price of these fields are insane. And it's really because the size of these fields are absolutely insane, right? They are behemoths. Just like this harvester is a behemoth. They are behemoth of fields. So they do take a while. They really do. As soon as I get up here to the end, I'm going to probably put this back on a worker, I think. As long as the worker will process harvesting this the proper way. So that way I can bring the actual trailer over here and get this started to be unloaded. I'm going to do this last headland pass here. Hopefully. I might actually have to drop it down to one headland pass. I think that might be part of the problem, is the two headland pass thing. The worker is saying it's not done, so it's going back to the headland passes, and that's why that section over there was left not being harvested, I guess is how I will put it. Actually, we might get full by the time we get to the end of this, actually. Looks like we're going to. Now, real quick, I do want to talk about the Vintage Survival Series. I know that's a lot of people's favorites. I'm going to be running that one for a little bit longer. I'm not sure how much longer it will be running. What I mean by that is it's going to run a little bit longer than this series will run. But the odds are it's not going to run for much longer than this series does. We've been running that one for quite a while. I've enjoyed it. A lot of people have enjoyed it. We will be doing another one. But I've mentioned a couple of times now. And, what is going on here? What is happening right now? Okay. For whatever reason, I guess I didn't have it turned on the proper thing. I guess I had it still on steering assist versus actually on the worker. So that was a mistake on me, but whatever. Anyway, back to the Vintage Survival Series. I'm going to run it for a little bit longer. I'm still really, really enjoying it. It's not necessarily something specifically that I do want to end But I do think we are getting close to a point where it is time to move on and do something else. And we're going to do something similar to it. I'm not sure if it'll be a vintage survival series right off the bat or not. But probably some other type of survival series I'm sure will take its place. Or maybe a challenge series. We'll see what I decide to come up with. But yeah, we're getting close to a point where I think, as I mentioned, that series is we need to move on to something else. A couple of reasons for it. One, we've been running it for quite a while. Two, I've talked about it at length to an extent that I'm working on doing a one-tile competitive series. We are getting close to having that finalized, I think. Now, that's only going to be 1 day a week. I get that. But we are still going to be doing that, and I've mentioned before, right, to accomplish that. Why is the worker not moving? Okay, I don't know where the worker's going there, but whatever. Just let it be, I guess. I don't know where he's going. We've got to do a few other things here in the process while we're doing this. I'm going to actually pick up this honey. It feels so weird having an electric. It just doesn't make any sounds really at all. So I don't even think it's on half the time. I sit there and turn it on and turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, because I don't think it's on. Anyway, so yeah, the Venture Survival series, we'll see. It's going to run a little bit longer than this series will, but for how much longer, I don't have that answer. Is it here? Is this where I dropped them off at? Now I forget where I dropped it off in the last episode. I know it feels like probably for all of you it was just the other day, but it's been a bit for me, actually. Must be over here. There it is. Perfect. Okay, so that's done. The worker is doing his own thing, so whatever. Let him do it. That's fine. Let's move the digestate over to here. That way we can make sure we can continue to have the liquid fertilizer being sent over to the greenhouses. We definitely want that to continue on. At some point here soon, I might stop the distribution of the strawberries because we are sending quite a few strawberries over there. And as I showed you, you know, we're at 14,000 already. Really, I'd like to get somewhere between 25, 30,000. Then I'll probably switch it back just because we're not making enough milk to keep up with the amount of strawberries we're sending over there right now. So because of those reasons, I think it makes sense for us to turn it back to lettuce or whatever and turn it on to auto selling because that will produce a little bit more money for us as well. 9 o'clock hit, as you can see, we're up to $225,000, which is awesome. Get the rest of this digestate unloaded in there. Perfect. Now we're going to do some more of the maintenance stuff we have to do, right? We got to put some water into the greenhouses. Move some more of the milk back over to the ice cream parlor, right? All that stuff, the ice cream factory, whatever. All that stuff has to be done, man. It's all just, you know, standard stuff that has to be done every day. And then we got to do the fertilization, as I mentioned. And then we got to we finally get to harvest the rye field as well, right? So there's lots to do, really. So, I'm going to get the rest of this water put into here. I will get the milk, and we're going to take it up to the factory, the ice cream factory. We'll come back here. We'll get the harvester loaded up. The fertilizer spreader loaded up. Probably in that process, we're going to have to make a trip back here with the canola because we are going to be out, for sure, out of room, I guess I should say, in the trailer. And we want to make sure that worker continues to do the harvest. Is not just sitting there getting paid for nothing. Nope. 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 And, yeah, we'll see where we get to. So let's get all this done. There's a lot to do, and we'll go from there. Well, it turns out I've made a mistake. I thought there was going to be enough room in the harvester here to get the rest of this field done without having to bring the trailer back over here, and like a moron, drove the trailer all the way over to the next field, getting it prepped and ready to go there. And, yeah, this is not going to work. I'll show it. Actually, now that I say that, though, I don't know what I was thinking. I'd have to fold this up anyway, more than likely. Anyway, I guess I'll have to go back and get the trailer, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. All right. You know what? You've seen me do this plenty of times. I'm going to put a worker on doing this one. That'll help us out if I do that. All right, worker can do that. And we'll bring this back like a moron. I'll have to bring it all the way back to where we were. I swear there was going to be enough room in that harvester. I never would have done this. Oh, boy. Alright, after that massive mistake, let's get this unloaded, and then I'm going to set the worker on doing the rest of this, actually. Because we've still got some other things we need to accomplish. Alright, should be good. Should be. Alright, the worker on this one is doing down the middle. Looks like that's fine. We're going to do it our way. We're going to do it our way. Alright. It's just doing little touch-up work here. I've got it set to where it's only, you know, doing the application that it has to, right? Or do I not have it on that? Maybe I don't have it on the correct application setup now that I'm looking at it. Maybe maybe I don't. No, it's an automatic application rate. Okay, we're good. Just doesn't need it there, I guess. On those spots. For whatever reason. Not sure why there's certain spots that it's not, you know, accepting the fertilizer on it, because clearly wherever it does accept the fertilizer, it's going to a green state, right? Maybe it was doing this. Maybe it already went through and did this. Can't have. Can't have. All right, I guess we're done. It's got some weird spots in there that the precision farming says that it's sufficient, evidently, but it doesn't really look sufficient to me, so who knows? We're going to follow whatever it tells us, though. We're going to do whatever it says, and that says it's fine, so... All right, field's done. Moving on. Back that up there. Perfect. We can drop that off, and we'll head on over here. And evidently... the worker did not start for some reason. Maybe it thought I was in the way or something? I don't know. We'll take care of it. Regardless, we'll take care of it. So we get the rest of this one harvested, and then we have got to jump over here to the rye field, which is... oh, actually, you know what? It might be around the same size. It is 8.35 acres of field, and this is 7.89. So yeah, it's actually very close. It's a very similar size. So it's going to take a while. We've got a lot more to do here. After that, we've got those wood beams to sell. As I mentioned, I'm probably going to wait on selling those specific wood beams, though, today. We do have the wood beam, the sawmill, rather, on auto selling now at this point. TMR were plenty. We talked about that. The grass, we could probably move some of the grass back over here to the silo, but really, it's still got plenty to chew through. It hasn't chewed through everything that it had before. There's a ton of digestate here in the farm supply, so it should be making liquid fertilizer for us. The dairy has milk now, plenty of strawberries. It actually might be... maybe we should go ahead and turn the strawberries off right now. I think I'm going to. We'll put the lettuce back on. Yeah, we'll put the lettuce back on. That'll make us a little bit more money as well. Which will just be good, right? It'll get us closer to where we need to be. As far as our big field, I think it will be ready next month. Yeah, it's going to be ready next month. And really... we would probably like to be able to buy the harvester next month. I was considering paying off some more of the loan, but really we probably want to be able to buy that harvester next month. So I think if we pay off a tiny bit, when I say a tiny bit, I'm talking, I don't know, 30,000, 50,000, something like that. It gets us closer to where we need to be at as paying off the loan. And it still gives us sufficient amount of money in the bank account that by the time next month rolls around, we should be closer to 400-ish thousand, I think. If I do my math correctly, at least. Well, I don't know. Now that we have that other greenhouse selling too, we might get a little bit more money too. And we've got the wood beam selling too, so yeah, we'll probably be closer to 500,000. Well, I guess it depends on how much I pay off in the loan today. We are going to pay some of that loan off today, I guess is what I should... That's where I'm trying to get to. Don't forget, we do have to put $4,000 and some odd dollars into the park. Did see a comment. I'm not sure if the reply has fully been posted yet, but I did see a comment about some other ideas to do for the park, since we are pretty much got it in a state now where it's a sufficient park. Doesn't really need anything specific. We've got to do a little touch-up work with some grass and things like that, but otherwise doesn't really need anything. You know, I kind of made that bit of a tiny museum to what it was before, right? With the windmill and all the stuff, you know, wrapping around in that little area in the middle. Somebody said, why don't you put some, you know, older pieces of equipment out there? I think that makes sense. I think that's a good idea. You know, maybe put down you know, an old tractor or an old harvester or something, not super expensive, something super cheap to put out there. I think it makes sense. So we might end up doing that as well. Whoa! we got some air there off that railroad crossing. Anyway, we've got to get this back over to the rye field, get the harvesting started there. I probably will put it on a worker for the starting portion of that. Then we can take the rest of the canola in the trailer and go and drop that off in our silo, and then we can head on over there. So let's get to work. All right, I'm going to let the worker continue on doing the harvest here. We've got a few other things we want to do. First off, I want to do a quick autosave here. We need to spend some money in the park, which, you know, if we don't get to the exact amount we need to, that's fine. Over the last, I don't know, handful or so episodes, I think we have, there's another leasing cost. That sucks. I think we've all kind of come to the conclusion here that, well, quite frankly, we spent more than we've had to on multiple occasions, so not that big of a deal in my eyes. Now, we're going to go over here and we're going to load up the whatever pallets we have of ice cream right now, because it is the best time to sell the ice cream, right? So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to stack them up on top of this trailer here. I think I'm also going to go ahead and put the ice cream right now, I think, on auto selling. We're doing a lot of auto selling right now as in general. I think we're going to go ahead and do that now too. And then we'll have to keep an eye on it and probably drop that back away from auto selling at some point in the near future. But for now, I think we can put that on auto selling. We are $246,000 now, which is fantastic. I do think I'm going to put $50,000 into the loan, or pay $50,000 into the loan, pay off $50,000 of the loan, I guess is what I should say. To get us a little bit closer to where we want to be at. I don't think I'm going to put any more than that. I think I want to keep the remainder, as I've mentioned a number of times already, to try to, you know, get the harvesters that we need to get here for their immediate future. I really don't want to take any more leases if at all possible. They are expensive, as you can clearly tell. We've spent quite a lot of money just on this harvester alone, although we are getting a good yield and a good harvest, really, from both of those fields. So that is very, very promising for sure, to say the least. A couple of things we can do around here, around the business area portion of this as well, is kind of put a fence over there on the road. You would typically see that, I think, for most businesses. And yeah, we'll kind of see what else we can get into, but there's not too many pallets there, so it should be relatively easy for us to be able to get these stacked on there. Not much here as far as honey. It's probably very, very small, but I'm going to go ahead and move it over anyway because we are nearly done, I think, for this episode once we finish that harvest. So I might as well take what we've got, even though it's basically nothing, and put it over here anyway. Now, each of these pallets should produce a decent chunk of change for us, which is going to be nice, right? I don't think it's going to pay for the entirety. Ooh. Okay, I thought I had... I did not have them separated far enough apart. Whoops. I don't think it's going to be enough to pay for, you know, $50,000 of the loan, but, I mean, it might get us close to $10,000 of the loan paid, which is, you know, it's still nice, right? Probably should have had the beacon on for that, but that's alright. Normally you would have the beacon on if you're utilizing or operating the forklift. Alright, those are strapped down. Let's go and sell these, and like I said, it's a different area of the map that we really haven't spent a whole lot of time in. We haven't really gone up here, so Big Farmer's Kiosk, that's where we're going. Let's tag that, and we will head on over there. The best way to get there looks like come out of here, hang a right again, and then kind of follow that to the end until it dead ends, then turn left, and then your first right, and then a left again. Quite a lot of turning here, but shouldn't be too bad. Now, when we get done with this harvest, before I return everything, I need to make sure I remember to bring the header back to our home base, to our yard. Because otherwise I'm not going to be able to move the header until we either, one, get at least another header trailer, or two, get a harvester. More than likely, it's going to have to be both, because it is a wide header, and as you can see, the trees here are pretty close together, so the odds of me being able to get that back anywhere, or to any field, rather, without a trailer for this map is pretty much slim to none. Oh, boy. I'm already going too fast. I gotta go for it. I beat the train on that one by going around the fences. Alright, we are pulling up here. This looks like basically just like a mill over here in the back in here in the trees. You would think this would be connected normally to a railroad, typically. But it doesn't appear to be so. It's a unique little area back here. I kind of like it. Okay, so yeah, I guess I just go up here to the front, and then it'll accept them and sell them. Yep, there they go. 40. Oh, I was very wrong. 42,746 plus a 4,379 environmental score. I was extremely wrong about how much money we would get out of that. Oh, we are basically paying for our loan payment there. Ooh. With that, I might actually be willing to put a little bit more into our loan payment. I might end up doing 100,000, which would be pretty nice, I think. As a matter of fact, let's do 100,000. That'll get us down to just 300,000 remaining. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And it still keeps us near that 200,000 mark, which is what I said I wanted to be at. because I do believe between now and the next episode we will be close to 400,000, which means we should, in theory, be able to pay for a harvester. And then all we have to worry about is one harvester, one specific harvester for the rice field, which is around $100,000 itself, right? And who knows? Maybe we'll get lucky. We normally don't. I've been lucky. I can count on one hand so far in this game is with the used market. But maybe we'll get lucky, and maybe one of those two specific harvesters we require will be in the used market, right? Maybe we'll get lucky. I don't expect that to be the case, but you never know. Maybe we will. Maybe we will. All right, I'm just going to park this here because I feel like we're going to have... Well, we might potentially... No, I mean, we're not going to. Never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. But I will park it here for now. I'll move it later on. We put that on auto-selling. I don't really know what I was thinking there. I was thinking we might be able to move some more, but we put it on auto-selling, so we shouldn't have to. Okay, so this is full, by the way. And for some reason, now that we have so many pieces of equipment, every time I go away from this tractor, this one... well, quite frankly, it becomes... turns off. It just turns off completely. So I'm not able to continue. Just drive it. When I flip to it, I have to turn it back on again. And I keep forgetting to do that. Anyway. Harvest is almost done, which is fantastic. All we got to do at this point is just finish the harvest, unload this stuff, take the header back to the yard, and then put the small amount of money into the park here. Now, what I think we're going to do for today is we're not going to have enough money, more than likely, to buy anything major, except for maybe a small tractor, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. But that small tractor is going to cost more than we have to put into the park today. So more than likely, what I'm going to do is do a little bit of the grass work we talked about that needs to be done, a little bit more touch-up work, maybe put down that telephone booth that I haven't done yet that I talked about towards the beginning there by the area where the bike area is and the basketball courts and all that stuff. Maybe that. Other than that, probably not a whole lot major is going to go into the park today. We are going to have to head back. It looks like we're going to have to no matter what anyway, but the worker's 80% full again. So we'll get this unloaded, and I will see you back at the field here, and we'll get the rest of that harvest done. All right, we're back here. I'm going to try to get this done before we hit 1 o'clock so we don't incur any more fees, potentially. And then I can return the harvester, just keep the header trailer, and get the header back to the yard. The header trailer is not expensive, so even if we incur a small fee on that, it's not going to be anything crazy. It's not going to be $8,000 like it is for the harvester, right? Alright, the field is done, man. It's a very successful field, man, really. We're going to make a lot of money off this. Then we've got all that straw we can pick up as well, which is going to take us a bit of time to do. Probably between the next episode or one of the next episodes for sure, we'll be taking care of that as well. Going to give us a lot of straw. Probably just selling the straw outright, more than likely. Maybe turn it into silage, maybe. Actually, we probably will do that, actually, or at least some of it will be turned into silage. I feel like that's a no-brainer, really. Alright, there's that. We just got to unhook this thing, and then we can return the harvester just in time. Alright, let's return this before we get that fee, as I mentioned. Boom, perfect. Okay. Only just did we make it. Alright, so let's we gotta take this back first of all, and there it goes, it turned it off again. We gotta take this back, and then we gotta bring the header back. And put the money into the park, and we're done. All right, let's see. Let's do a quick autosave here, and then I don't know how this is going to work. I don't think I've tried this yet, so we'll see what happens when I return the trailer when it still has a header on it, and maybe it tells me we can't do it. And if that's the case, then that's the case. Okay, it just drops it on the ground. Perfect. That's what I was hoping for it to do, and that's what it did. Okay, good. Now, I know this might be a little bit squished here for a bit, but again, we're going to be getting rid of these stumps soon, and then that's going to open up this room a little bit more as well for us, right? So, let's head to the park here. Let's put a small amount of money into the park, and we'll call it a day. So, this is the area in question that I was talking about. I don't remember if it's under others or if it's under decoration. I think it's decoration. Looks like it is. Where is it? Where is it? Well, that's one of them. This kind of makes sense more for Britain for sure, so we probably should be doing this one. But I thought there was a bigger one. So I think what I'm going to do here is put down a couple of these. Let's just do 3 of them. I think that's sufficient. And then the rest of this I'm going to fill in with some grass, and we'll do a little bit of work here on the ground, if you will. All right. And then let's find that fence again. I've always have issues finding this fence after I've put it down. This one. It's that one. Okay. Just like that. That's exactly what I was looking for. I might put a couple benches here, maybe. That might make a little sense as well, right? Let's clean up this side over here, put down some grass, and then we can put down some meadow grass as well. I'll have to touch that up a little bit. I got a little bit too... went a little too fast there and hit that, and I shouldn't have. Was it this one? Yep, that's it. That's it. All right. And then we just got to get some meadow grass down here. I'm going to do the long meadow grass just to kind of match the rest of this out here. Some of the grass we're going to put over where the kids' playground is. That's going to be shorter grass, obviously, or potentially something else. I haven't fully figured that portion out yet, but we will. We will soon enough. Okay. Yeah, that's good. All right. We'll leave the episode at that point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like and subscribe button for me in case you have yet to do so. It helps me out an absolute ton. Thoughts, questions, comments, ideas. You know the drill. Let me know down below. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank you guys enough. Link down below if you're interested in that. Discord's down there. Everything you need is all down there. Appreciate the continued support. Thanks for watching.